we've got to get a little bit of the reaction that we saw in the media last night to Donald Trump essentially securing the nomination, not officially in terms of delegates, but it's his. It's done. It was a freak out, but it was. I've covered a lot of these, Vivek. I mean, I've covered a lot of Super Tuesdays. This was more like a snoozer Tuesday because we knew it was going to happen. And what happened, like the rhetoric being employed in this clip, you watch, it's got all of our favorites in there, is beyond anything I've heard, even with respect to Trump. Here it is in slot 6.
What's wrong with you people? Why do you hate America? Why do you vote for a guy that says America is terrible? That it's a third world country. So
this is not somebody who cares about anything other than himself.
There's something so heavy about covering what could be the last election. We're not, I think talking in hyperbolic terms because Trump is now running as a guy who said, quote, I'll be a dictator on day one.
He has remade the party in his image. There are still some Republicans who are trying to take it away, like take it back. Right? That's over. That's over. There's no back. That party doesn't exist anymore.
Right. And that we're actually going to be covering a general election between these two men where one isn't running on a promise to continue to have elections at all.
Okay. Kicks off with, why do you hate America if you're supporting Trump? And then you heard, this is just so heavy because this could be the last election we ever have. He's not going to leave. We heard Rachel Maddow say the same the other night.
Yeah, so look, I think that it's a bit Orwellian, a bit of projection here, where you do have a political party and a movement that is literally trying, but for the Supreme Court, to remove one of the two major candidates from the ballot in states across this country. And that means you don't have a nation left, right? If you want a patchwork framework where certain states can disallow certain presidential candidates while other ones allow them, we don't have a country left. So if we wanted to adopt the histrionics, I think we would have a stronger case in the reverse direction. A political party in power where literally the prosecutorial force of a Department of Justice reporting into the U.S. president, who's one of those two candidates on the ballot, is using the apparatus of that federal government to go after his political opponent in the middle of an election. So I think you're seeing a lot of projection here. The lack of self-awareness is stunning. But I do think, Megyn, it's the beginning of the next layer of histrionics you're going to see to do whatever they can to keep this man out of the White House. And I continue to believe that though people have a lot of complacency in the Republican camp after Super Tuesday, I think the real race hasn't really even begun. I don't think Biden is going to be the nominee. I think they are already planting the seeds, laying the breadcrumbs that make it evident that they're preparing to move him out of the way. What I see right now is the Democrats seeing an advantage, though, in prolonging that as much as possible. The more Republicans fall into the trap, and I do see it as a trap, and I do see some Republicans falling into it, of focusing the agenda on defeating Biden, talking about his age, talking about his frailty, his mental errors, his lack of mental acuity, even some of the corruption relating to Biden and his relationship with Hunter, all worthy topics to interrogate about any U.S. president. But the more we fall into the siren song of that as our trap, as a lightning rod for our message, in some ways, the better it is for the Democrats if you get to this summer, all of that political capital, energy, messaging capital, and even just raw inertia, right? A force moving in a certain direction, if that's your message, criticizing Biden as your agenda, they pull the rug out. It's not Biden as the nominee. That then by the middle of the summer works to the Democrat advantage. So I think that's exactly what's happening is they're slow playing the switcheroo that's coming this summer. Republicans, to some extent, are falling into that trap by focusing the message on Biden, when in fact Biden's going to be about as irrelevant as Nikki Haley. That is so interesting. Well, we know that Biden's message is all about Trump, and Trump will be the nominee. Yep. So maybe it's smarter. Yes. There's no switcheroo coming on the Republican side unless Jack Smith manages to get Trump in jail before November, which is looking less and less likely and nearly impossible. Yeah. But this is fascinating. I do want to talk to you about, because I know you think the switcheroo is coming. Just this week, Michelle Obama's office put out a statement saying she's not running. She does not want to be president. She's not running for president. So do you believe that? And if they do the switcheroo, how and with whom? Well, the lady doth protest too much, I would say right there. We'll see about that. And you know which lady is not protesting too much is Hillary Clinton. She is vying for this in every which way she knows how. Now. It's kind of funny actually to watch, right? But I care less about which specific person it is. If you believe in the modern left's religion, it has to be somebody who checks off at least one identitarian box, which is why I think they're going to have a tough time putting Gavin Newsom there unless they make Kamala Harris the VP again, which allows them to stomach that. But I'm not in this, and I wouldn't, I'm not some sort of analyst that has a particular opinion in the betting markets of whether it's going to be Gavin or Michelle or Hillary Clinton or somebody else. And I think in some ways we still risk falling into that same trap if we obsess over that question versus what I think the Republican Party needs to be doing, which is focusing on our own affirmative agenda, irrespective of who we're running for, we're running against on the other side. And first of all, I think that's necessary because I think it's not going to be Biden. We had, even in the very debate that you moderated and I participated in, we had the Beat Biden pledge. And I told Ronna McDaniel this was a pretty silly pledge where we are not focusing on our own agenda or even focusing on our nominee, but instead focusing on beating Biden when he's not going to be the nominee. I've thought this for a long time. But I think that that's a bit of a trap that the Republicans are falling into. And it's an easy trap to fall into because it's a lot easier to criticize an individual than it is to actually articulate and affirm an agenda and a vision of your own. But that's what I think we need to level up and do in these coming months, such that when that switch does come midsummer, late summer, who knows when it is, it matters less who they put up because we've already immunized ourselves against the effect of that to say that, okay, you have that internal Democratic politic game going on over there. We're running there. We're focused on a nation with borders actually behaving like a nation, on economic growth and the pursuit of excellence without apologizing for it, on a national identity grounded in the 1776 principles that set our country into motion. We'll go straight down the list. That's what making America great again is all about. You hear the subtext of that a lot in Trump's message, and I would say in the last couple of months, maybe even more clearly. And I think that's a good thing. I think of the Republicans out there, Donald Trump has been doing a better job about incorporating messages relating to free speech, relating to national identity, relating to national unity in his themes. Even in this past week, his reaction to the Supreme Court, I thought, was amongst the better speeches he has given. I think that any candidate has given. The way he handled that, I thought was well done. That's the direction we need to go, even further in that direction to protect ourselves against the otherwise bait and switch trap that the Republicans are going to fall into.
Let's discuss a crucial aspect of your financial health, your credit report. It's time to face a hard truth. Your credit report could be suffering due to unfounded, reputation-damaging claims. These are the kind of claims that simply will not hold up under rigorous scrutiny. And that's where Lexington Law Firm comes into play. For less than $100, Lexington Law champions your cause, using a comprehensive arsenal of consumer protection laws to fight for your best credit report. Lexington Law is fully equipped to challenge those exploitative creditors who also work with the aggressive debt collectors, and they obstruct your financial path and future. Go and visit lexingtonlaw.com for a complimentary credit assessment. Let their experts place your credit under the microscope, ensuring it reflects your true financial story. Remember to mention that Megyn referred you. Again, that's lexingtonlaw.com. Empower yourself with the right team on your side. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.